1 mile New Hampshire International Speedway. The second half of the NASCAR Nextel Cup season begins here at a track where hot tempers have been costly to some of the sport's coolest stars. So before they turn up the heat, drivers size up the competition to see if anyone looks a little shifty. The temperature is climbing. To win in the Nextel Cup series, you should probably carry a license to chill. Here's a look at the top 20 heading into the race today in New Hampshire. The top 6 positions unchanged after Chicago. Sadler now 7th and Harvick from 10th to 8th. Right now, Ryan Newman holds the final spot in the chase for the championship. Remember, only the top 10 in points, and drivers within 400 points of the leader will be eligible to win the Nextel Cup in the final 10-race tournament. Dale Earnhardt Jr. currently sits second in the championship standings and has a virtual lock on a seat in that 10-race tournament. Earnhardt Jr. will compete here today, just 1 week after suffering second-degree burns in a fiery crash on the road course in Sonoma, California. Pre-race practice, driving a Corvette. Earnhardt loses control and crashes. You'll see the fuel spill out of the back. It is ignited by the hot components beneath the car. Earnhardt in the car for a moment, then did manage to get out and was helped away by the track safety team.
And now we'll look at the starting lineup for today's race. Newman with Jimmy Johnson alongside of the front row. Johnson trying to make it 3 consecutive wins at this racetrack.
And back in row 2 on the inside, Martin Truex Jr. jumped in the 8 car, qualified at 3rd. Junior's in and now. He will go to the rear of the field because of the driver change. Michael Waltrip on the outside.
Michael came so close to winning both races here last year. You heard from Jamie McMurray a minute ago and Casey Kane earlier on Discover Card Countdown to Green. A couple guys with good race cars could be threats to win at the end of the day. And Rusty Wallace won the inaugural race here at New Hampshire International Speedway, or won a race at New Hampshire many years ago. And there he is in row 4.
Let's see if we can get a hold of Rusty. Hey, Rusty, this is Wally in the booth. Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
All right, well, you saw a lot of different strategies yesterday in the Busch race. Do you guys have one today?
Well, I couldn't hear you real good, but we had a good race yesterday, no doubt about that. And learned a little bit from yesterday's Busch race, that's for sure. Hopefully we have a good run today. Expect the track to be real slick the first 10 or 12 laps, and after that it should neutralize.
You got a great qualifying spot there. How was your car?
A little tight from the center out, a little loose in. We made some adjustments last night. Hopefully we hit it, but I'm sure we'll be working on it throughout the day, just like everybody else.
Okay, good luck, Rusty.
Thanks a lot.
Rusty Wallace, indeed the winner of the inaugural race here back in 1993. Starts in row number 4, and you look at the rest of the starting lineup. There are a couple of former New Hampshire winners way back in row 13. Mark Martin and Dale Jarrett, and the winningest driver in this track's history.
4 times Jeff Burton has 1 year. See, back in 15, Brendan Gaughan, Jeff Green.
Matt Kenseth.
Man, I tell you, you just got to go to the back to find Kenseth, but you know, at the end, he's usually up near the front.
And won the NASCAR Busch Series race here yesterday afternoon, and we showed you live on TNT. Ricky Rudd, another former New Hampshire winner. And Jimmy Spencer, Mike Wallace back in row 18. Final spots on time went to Sterling Marlin and Scott Wimmer. And now those who got in on provisional starting spots by the NASCAR rulebook. Kyle Petty, Todd Bodine, Morgan Shepherd, Ted Christopher, NASCAR veteran who won a Featherlight Modified Series race here last night. He's going to drive Kirk Shelberdine's car from row 21. And Hermie Sadler brings up the back of the field out of Virginia. Failed to qualify. Kyle Busch had a crash in his qualifying lap, unable to make the race. Kevin LePage also. And we talked about the Dale Earnhardt Jr. situation. Because Truex Jr. qualified the car because of the driver change, Earnhardt Jr. goes to the back. Ted Christopher's team changed an engine this morning, a violation of NASCAR rules. Let's get some final stories from pit road before we go green. Dave?
Alan, Jeremy Mayfield tested a car here a total of 600 miles to try to get ready for this race. He's only 65 points out of 10th place and a chance to be in the chase for the championship. Marty?
Dave, it was announced earlier this week that Ricky Craven will not be back in the 32 car after the end of this year. Ricky said he's not going to take the first ride available. He's going to take his time, but he's in front of the hometown fans today with his best starting position of the year in 10th. Matt?
big weekend could get even bigger for Terry Labonte. Today marks his 800th career start. In 4 of the last 6 races, he's scored top 10 finishes. He starts 11th. Maybe that'll change again today and scores first New Hampshire win.
300 laps, 317 miles the distance today, and they're coming down for the start. We're underway at New Hampshire.
Rusty Wallace said these first few laps are going to be really, really tough. They are. A little bit tough is an understatement. These cars are really, really squirrely when the pressures are down, and you got new tires. Very slick.
And the last race run on this pavement, a modified race last night. So the rubber is different than these guys use on these Goodyear radial tires.
And it's probably the warmest they've ever been on the track so far this weekend with the temperatures.
Tiptoeing through 3 and 4.
Robbie Gordon got into the back of Kevin Harvick, got him sideways, but they collected it.
That's Gordon, the big orange nose car there just behind Jeff Gordon. Everybody saved it. We're clean through lap 1. Ryan Newman leads. Jimmy Johnson is second. Michael Waltrip third. Jamie McMurray fourth. And still the big traffic jam.
Here's what I was talking about. Watch on the bottom. Robbie Gordon, 3 wide, tags the 29 car. Got him sideways, but checked up and let him save it.
Let's go on board with Robbie Gordon. That's a car that he definitely does not want to spin out. A teammate. Oh, man, oh, man. All right. Kevin Harvick, what did he feel going in the corner?
He felt uneasy.
Very uneasy for about 3 seconds, yes.
Harvick now running back in 19th place. Robbie Gordon is in 23rd. Smoking behind
31 cars.
Looks like Robbie's car, yeah. He may have got a fender down on that tire from that contact, possibly on the right front.
It looked okay. It looked okay that time. Okay. Jeff Gordon there wrestling with Kevin Harvick. That's for 19th and 20th spots. Remember, Gordon came into this weekend trying to win a 5th straight pole position. It did not work out very well in qualifying. He's back in 24th.
But those guys, I talked to Robbie Lewis this morning in the 24 car. They were real happy with their car after practice. They were not happy after qualifying, but they got the car working really good in race trim, and they were pretty optimistic.
And Michael Waltrip takes a 15 car to 2nd spot. And here comes Jamie McMurray trying to get on the inside of Jimmy Johnson.
And that'll be for 3rd. Michael Waltrip could have won both races here at New Hampshire a year ago. Very strong car in each. Got black flagged because his tailpipes were dragging late in this race a year ago last July. And then in September came down pit road for a splash of gasoline leading. And the fuel can hung in the car. He dragged it out of the pit box, had to come back in for a penalty. So much for that. Continues to try and work Johnson for 3rd. Ryan Newman is out in front of Michael Waltrip by 0.8 of a second. Bill?
And that's exactly where they plan to stay. This team very confident about this car. Talked to crew chief Matt Borland this morning, said it's their Las Vegas car. They've made very few changes, and any changes they have made on this car, minor since they took it off the truck. Their goal, get out front, stay out front, lead them all, beat them all.
Bill, not only is all the guys on the 12 car confident, I think most of the crews in here are confident that the 12 car is the car to beat today. There's no doubt about it. He has shown a tremendous amount of speed.
So Newman continues to lead.
And that's the place you want to be. I mean, we've seen it where it was in the bush race. You want that clean air, and we see it every week. And although this isn't a big aerodynamic racetrack, you still need all the help you can get. And I think if you're not behind another car, you're not losing that air, you're not losing that downforce, so you want to be out front.
Just as a refresher, as we watch this race for 3rd, see how difficult it is for Jamie McMurray to use the low lane to pass Jimmy Johnson. 42 trying to go by 48. This racetrack's configuration a little different than most.
Yeah, it is, and what you have to do, and he did it perfect, if you can get in side by side into the corner, if your car rolls a little bit better in the center, and you can get on the throttle, you can make the pass. We see here Jeremy Mayfield down on the bottom 48 car, and what he's going to try to do, he's going to try to stay next to him as long as he can. But it's really hard getting off the corner side by side because the car on the outside is in your groove, so you can't use all the racetrack.
The bottom lane of pavement below that first broken line is flatter than where the 19 is running, which is flatter than where the 48 is running. And that's why it's so difficult to race underneath someone. The most banking to help the car turn is a little farther up the racetrack.
When they repaved the racetrack a couple of years ago, the yellow line used to be up where the red car, Jeremy Mayfield is. They repaved the apron of the racetrack. So you're right, Alan. It is much flatter down on that part of the racetrack, more bank. Oh, here we see Junior trying to go to the front. He's trying to take the 33rd spot, 32nd spot away from Sterling Marlin.
Remember, he started back in 43rd.
Dave, has he said anything to the crew about how he feels inside the car?
He has said nothing, BP, quiet on the radio, but as Martin Truex Jr. stands by, keep this in mind. One reason why they like Martin coming into the car, he fits. The driver's compartment is a very personal space to work in, and Martin Truex is the same size as Dale Earnhardt Jr. No adjustments will be needed to the seats, no adjustments will be needed to the belts. When he gets in, they can clamp him in and go.
Don't forget, every car and every spot that Earnhardt Jr. could get, that buys him time on pit lane, because you're going to have to come in the pit. If the yellow comes out, you want to be up as far as you can. Those are seconds. If you come in at the end of the line, that pace car's got a long ways, or not so far to go around and get you lapped. So he's trying to get to the field and trying to get, to the middle of the field would be great. If the yellow came out, then he's not the last guy.
The minute and a half that you and Dave talked about on the Dave Discovers with the driver change is the time it takes the pace car to make a lap.
Right.
But if you're 25 seconds behind the pace car, that minute and a half becomes a minute 5 to make the change before you get lapped. So Earnhardt Jr. trying to buy himself some time for the change when the first caution comes out. Ryan Newman is your leader early in the Siemens 300 at New Hampshire. Back in New Hampshire, the caution has just come out. Ricky Craven, who was running in 11th spot, has gotten into the wall off of turn 2.
Pretty hard there, BP. Well, he sure has. That right front tire isn't moving, isn't rolling, so it's usually a sign.
So the lucky dog will be.
First, we give up the lucky dog, don't we?
Yes, sir, Junior. You are a lucky dog
Stay out there
today.
till we figure out what's going on. We'll be fine. Just kind of get caught up here and let's see what happens.
And what they're referring to, if you're new to NASCAR,
Wow, center off. It like spins right rear up off. That way, it's got, I don't know, it just don't, it's loose in, it won't turn in the middle, it won't roll through the center. If it rolls through the center, don't turn off. Not enough gear.
when NASCAR ended the practice of racing back to the caution, they put in a rule to allow the first car not on the lead lap at a caution flag to get back around the pace car and basically make up the lap. So Junior is in that position.
If you put it on the left, on that flat part, getting in and coming off, it gets loose off. If you put it on the flat, put the left foot down there, it gets loose out against the wall, but it pushes all the way through the center, all the way off. Hey guys, don't worry about it. That's we're gonna come in, Dale Jr. Don't come in first time by. Wait second time by. We're gonna get you out, then we're gonna come in and do our tires. Clark.
Yeah, not captain after that.
Fine, Clark, get Dale Jr. out. Y'all have the can. Bill, you're doing it. Where's Craig? Craig, your catch can. Just do the normal deal we've been doing all week. Remember, they said you got to take tires your first time in. You can't take them after that. Or that's fuel, sorry.
Well, they've got a lot of officials down there at that 8 pit, don't they, to make sure they do everything right?
Here come the lead lap cars onto pit road for their service.
Calm down, it's working good.
Junior stays on the track as he has to as a lap down car, and the leaders are in. Ryan Newman to the attention of his crew all the way down at turn 1. Marty?
Michael Waltrip just a little bit tight. It was 4 tires, pound down the right front, wedge out of the left rear. Quick stop for the 15 guys. Matt?
A chassis adjustment and air pressure adjustment for Casey Kane. The balance of the car gone way to the loose side. He's down and away. Bill.
They're taking off that right rear tire. Ryan complained about it. Chassis adjustment, track bar, and wedge adjustment. A little bit tight. He's on his way.
like Tony Stewart picked up a couple of spots. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has just been waved around the pace car, so he'll now come back onto the lead lap, then come around and make his pit stop.
And now he'll probably try to get those belts loose.
Where's that pace car at?
Get everything unplugged.
Go ahead and catch up, Junior.
Before he stops.
Safety truck up there watching. No, get all you can there, Dale Jr., because I got to have all that time.
So you see him right there?
Copy.
He's loosening the belts up.
Ready.
Okay, now that helps when the next guy gets in. Those belts, if they're tight when the next guy gets in, it's really hard to get them buckled. Now we'll probably unlatch it before he gets stopped as well. You need to unplug everything, get everything you can attached to you so you can get out quick. Don't forget, he's sore, so he's not going to be getting out too fast.
He might need to make another lap because, all right, here he comes.
If he makes another lap, then they can't add fuel to the car, so he's got to come in here, Benny.
Come on, you're 10 away here, DJ, right in front of 41. Come on in here. Come on, right here.
All right, Dave, go ahead.
Here they go. The three guys going in the car. On the other side, Jay Guarneri hopped in through the window. B. Hoover will jump in and help Martin Truex jump in. But Big Jeff Clark is now helping Junior out of the car. He's the gas man, helps Junior get out. Gas man for the team. Bill Snyder will fuel the car. You heard him discussing the understanding of the Lucky Dog rule. They must fuel now because they can't come in later and do it. Now Truex is in the car. They will try to buckle him in. Again, the team helping him. And Martin tried to do what he can. But Guarneri on the other side doing most of the buckling. Window net and belts have to be tightened. Our NASCAR officials look at him looking in the car, making sure that he is safe to re-enter the speedway. They say that he is. They don't stand before him, and he leaves. They beat the pace car out.
Man, the crowd is loving all this drama on pit road with a driver change.
So, now, if he got everything attached, he'll stay out. But if he needs to come in, he's got some time. Make sure everything is connected, especially the radio.
I'm sure he'll come back in.
Yeah.
They'll come back in to take their tires. Dave?
That's right. They can put tires back on, but they can't refuel. That was not to give too much of an advantage to the Lucky Dog.
So Dale Jr. getting a breath as Martin Truex Jr. is now back into the number 8 car.
And you see, he doesn't have gloves on because it's so much easier to put the belts on. He'll put the gloves on before he starts back there.
BP, those gloves are in the car. They're stuffed underneath the front seat for Martin. As soon as he has the belts tightened, he will put them on.
All right. He didn't even have the belts tight yet. I mean, he had them connected, but there you go. He's straightening the wheel out.
Chaos.
I mean, that's tough when you're trying to do all that stuff and not...
Don't worry about it. Don't feed. You're good.
Down.
Don't feed. You're good.
Now, he'll tighten those belts up once he gets, caught up.
And again, because he was at the end of the pack, they had so much less time to work with. You see, they just barely beat the pace car out again.
Go, so get on around there.
The crowd reaction when they hoisted Junior out of that car was huge. What racetrack you go to, he is popular. So now it falls on the shoulders of 24-year-old Martin Truex Jr. to get what kind of a finish he can out of the day for the Budweiser team and what kind of points he can score for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the championship. If you're new to NASCAR, the driver that starts the race earns all the championship points on the day, regardless of whether he gets a relief driver or not. So wherever Truex Jr. finishes this race, those will be the points that Earnhardt Jr. gets credit for on the day.
Get ready. Green flag.
Ryan Newman is the leader off the pit stops, followed by Michael Waltrip. Tony Stewart up to 3rd. Jamie McMurray and Casey Kane back to 4th and 5th. And Kevin Harvick, Jeremy Mayfield, Rusty Wallace, Jeff Gordon, and Jimmy Johnson.
Ooh, little contact between Michael Waltrip in the 15 car and Jeff Green in the 43. But he cleared him. That was real important. Don't want to be hung out on the outside of slower traffic here. The guys in front of you will just leave.
Now this is a touchy time for the leaders because a lot of cars were put a lap down. We got the 30th place on back to 42nd out there, not on the lead lap, and they were all lined up to the inside, and these lead lap cars trying to work their way around them on a very slippery racetrack. This one's for position. Rusty Wallace in the 2, working on Jimmy Johnson in the 48. Actually, Rusty lost a spot in the last lap.
And we see McMurray is going by the 20 car of Tony Stewart.
So McMurray up to 3rd spot. Now let's go back through all the hurrah and show you why the caution came out.
Oh. I wonder what happened to the 38 car of Elliott Sadler, and I see now. The 32, Ricky Craven, got loose off the 2nd corner. We had to back up off the gas. Elliott got in the back of him. Marty?
Well, Ricky, this is not what we hoped for. What happened?
Yeah, Jimmy and I got together. You know, that part of it was okay, but the 38 stuck me in the right rear.
All right, obviously very emotional. This is his hometown race. Elliott Sadler says they have a lot of left front damage as well. They tried to knock it out on the pit stop, did the best they could with it in the limited time they had.
So Craven in the garage behind the wall getting repairs made to his car. Ernie Sadler's car has also been pushed back to the garage by his crew.
Wow, that's a big block there from Jeremy Mayfield on the 19 on Jimmy Johnson.
How about that Jeff Gordon, huh? What an impressive run. Robbie got very loose off the 2nd corner. I thought the 19 was going to get in the back of him as Jeff Gordon tries to get up alongside Casey Kane.
And he's going to block him in. If he can stay there, he's going to block him in.
That's going to be for 6th place.
Yep.
Jeff Gordon started 24th.
Now, who's going to win this race up front? Jeff Green in the 43 or the 29 of Kevin Harvick?
43 of Jeff Green, 2nd car 1 lap down in 31st place.
And you lose so much time when on your stopwatch when you have to race like that.
So Mark Truex Jr. is in the 8 car, running last on the lead lap in 29th place. Had a little moment a couple of laps ago as he has tried to get acclimated to how that machine is driving.
Trying to get alongside the 49 car of Kenny Schrader, and comes off the corner. Some contact between the two, and wow, that's almost as good a job as Matt Kenseth did in the 17 earlier in the race.
Dave, all clear right there, all clear.
Wow. Could hear the tires squealing, even over the race engine. Dave?
That's been part of what Junior's been doing down here. Got himself seated in front of a television now, watching Truex Jr. drive the 8 around the track. He had a brief conversation with Tony Eury Jr. about the car. He was also receiving lots of congratulations, gentle pats on the back from his teammates. And also Dr. Scott McNair, team physician for Hendrick Motorsports, came by just to see if he could offer any assistance to Junior. None was given.
Okay, so Truex Jr. out there again working on Dave Blaney, this would be, for 28th place. Blaney in the 30.
Got to be patient here, Benny. Yes. I mean, you know, you're in a good race car. You know, you just got to be patient. You don't have to try and impress anybody. He gets around this place good. He qualified great.
And we got 225 laps to go. I mean, this race is not going to be over in the next 15 minutes.
I want to give you our singular race talk poll. The risk-reward factor, it's been debated all week since Dale Jr.'s accident in a non-NASCAR race last Sunday out in California. Want to know what you think? Should Cup drivers take part in outside races? Many as they want. Same side Busch Series races or none at all. If you were the team owner, what would you do?
A lot of difference if I was the team owner and the driver.
Exactly.
Ryan Newman is out in front. He has led every one of the 75 laps that have been completed so far today here at New Hampshire International Speedway. Michael Waltrip continues to chase from second.
gorgeous day here in New Hampshire. New England sun shining down on the New Hampshire International Speedway, and more than 91,000 fans here to watch the Nextel Cup Series on this 1-mile track. Up front, Ryan Newman continues to lead. Started on the pole. He's been out front all day. He's been in our through the fields this afternoon, but now we want to take you inside the field. A look at some of the teams that work just as hard as the leaders, but still can't quite crack the top 20. That's like maybe Ken Schrader. His best finish this year, 6th at Bristol. He's gone 425 starts since his last win at Dover in June of 1991. This season, this team got sponsorship at the last second from Schwann's, and they have continued to work hard at improving their finishes. In their thoughts today, rear tire changer Ryan Shea probably out for the season after a wicked motorcycle wreck. As for Schrader at age 49, he's not slowing down. This season, 5 race wins, 2 in the Grand National West Series, 1 in ARCA, 1 super modified, and 1 late model. Schrader is like repeats of Law and Order, entertaining and always running somewhere. Matt?
Casey Kane just inside the top 10, running 10th. The first 7 races this year, he finished second 3 times and a third, but the next 11, only 1 top 5 finish, a second at Michigan. Back in 2002, when Tommy Baldwin was trying to make some good things happen with Ward Burton, they went to a little tiny short track in Thompson, Connecticut. They tested, and they came up to New Hampshire and won the race. On Wednesday, Tommy took Casey Kane to Don Hodek's Thompson short track, ran over 160 laps. They hit upon something, trying to use that today to break through and get Casey his first win. Marty?
Matty, he may be in 39th and 6 laps down, but there's no man happier to be here than Teddy Christopher. On Saturday afternoon, he was in the modified race here at New Hampshire. 25 starts for Christopher in the modified race. He had never won. He finally won. It is the Daytona 500 of modified races. The man who finished second behind him, his brother Mike, who pushed him to the win because crafting is a big factor for the modifieds here at New Hampshire. Teddy said that was the highlight of his career. Dave?
Marty, Ward Burton runs 29th and still on the lead lap, but has been fighting a tight race car all day. Sounds kind of like his season where he's only had 2 top 10 finishes. So how do they turn it around? Well, a guy who's been with this organization for just over a year, Bill Engel, is now the new crew chief. Bill has a good history in NASCAR, running with Alan Kowicki, Michael Waltrip, and winning with Ricky Rudd. In fact, with Rudd, 50% of the runs they had were a top 10. That's a stat he carries with him and hopes he can add to the 0 team. Alan?
Ward Burton, rather, out there still trying to hang on to that lead lap, while Ryan Newman is trying to hang on to the lead. About the most serious challenge he's had for a while, as Kurt Busch has gotten up to his back bumper.
Yeah, he got up to his back bumper really close a couple of times, but 12-car Ryan Newman was able to just drive away from him on the straightaway. But right here, the car looks really good through the center.
I tell you what, Kurt Busch is able to run lower on the racetrack than Ryan Newman, and that's one reason that he is catching him, and one reason he may be able to get by, because he's running in a different location. Bill, what about the 12 car? Is he having some problems?
No, he's doing fine. In fact, one reason the 97 might want to get by his desire. 5 bonus points. Ryan, kick it up a notch. That 97 wants the bonus points. It's all up to you.
It looks like he may get those bonus points.
Remember that if you lead a lap, you collect 5 extra points toward the championship. Dave?
You know, a lot of people in life get a second chance, but guys, do you think a car deserves a second chance?
I think so.
I think so. Jimmy Fennig, the crew chief on the 97, he thinks so. This car ran very well at Richmond earlier this year. In fact, led 6 laps, but then a fan belt failed on the car. Put them down and finishing in 31st position. But they decided to bring it out here. And this morning I talked with Jimmy Fennig, and he said, you know, this car, we're pretty stout.
Yeah, they are pretty stout right now, because that 97 car is going to give Ryan Newman a fit.
So number on Ryan Newman for you guys. He has led 170 laps today. The most laps he had ever led in a NASCAR Nextel Cup single race, 162 at Dover, June 2003. So a new personal best for Ryan Newman today, to use a track and field term.
Tell you what, when that 12 car gets straight, though, he does drive away.
Got a little giddy up to it.
It's got some giddy up. Right here, looks like Kurt Busch is a little bit better. Oh, he's going to get there now. And right here, well, he's going to give it to him.
All right.
There you go.
Kurt Busch to the lead.
one lap down in 30th place.
And now it's clear. If Robbie will give him just a little bit, yes, he does.
And Kurt Busch drove the car in the third corner about 2 car lengths deeper than he's driven it all day just to get by the 31 car.
Casey Mears had a little trouble up there in turn 2.
Yeah, he got it going again, though.
Jeff Gordon moves into the third spot, and here goes Kurt Busch trying to take the lead. Can't do it.
We talked about, Tony Stewart is still fighting off Rusty Wallace, but he's looking on the inside now. McMurray.
For the lead. I don't wear a watch on this, do you, Walt?
No. Looking out the window, looking at the screen.
Got the race for the lead, got all these shuffles for position. We don't want to look away from these two because it looks like Kurt Busch is going to try and take the lead away from Ryan Newman, but so far he's been able to peak.
Look, there's the nose.
But not finish.
Well, like I said, he's good in. He's good through the center. But when that 12 car gets straight and gets pointed, he's gone.
He's handling well down the
He's
straight.
handling very good on the straightaways. Here we go. 97 takes a look. He's going to try to get on the gas just a little bit, try to get up to the door so he can at least hang with them down the straightaway. If he can, now this may be good enough. He's beside him. There it is.
All right, Kurt Busch to the lead. And look, Jeff Gordon. And Ryan Newman all of a sudden bobbles, and Gordon goes to second.
97 cars in the lead. Oh, trouble.
77.
Brendan Gaughan, turn 2.
Is a caution out? Yes, it is.
Heck of a save.
He's got some damage.
No, you did your thing. You're good.
But Brendan Gaughan, he's got the right rear corner of the car crinkled up a little. Maybe that's what caused him to spin. So the yellow flag out for, what is this, the 8th time in the race? For Brendan Gaughan, who went for a little loop-de-loop over in turn number 2. Venturing where no man boldly goes. And the vari-colored smoke. That's an interesting sight too, huh? To the restart here at New Hampshire International Speedway. The race to the chase. Things take a little shuffle toward the bottom side of the top 10. We'll look at it here in a moment. Kurt Busch is the leader. That's Martin Truex Jr. to his inside.
Green flag.
In the 8 car in relief of Dale Jr. Not the first car 1 lap down. Remember, he had a little spin out earlier, and he's 2 laps down in 32nd place.
Kurt Busch has just been great today on these restarts.
Well, he really has, and that Jeff Gordon caught a tough break when the 8 car, Truex was able to get down in turn 1 alongside of him.
As they run, the championship standings, remember Earnhardt Jr. getting the points that he and Truex Jr. will combine to win today. You see Kurt Busch standing to take a big leap as the second half of that top 10 is very crowded. And then below the top 10, it's even more crowded.
Elliott Sadler dropping 3 spots in the current point standings back to 10th. And here we see Tony Stewart trying to get by the 42 car of Jamie McMurray.
And he's gonna do it. And that 50 car actually helped him. Mike Wallace kind of got to block him in there a little bit. Looks like Tony's wiggling the car a little bit. They got some debris or something on those tires.
There are the guys chasing what would be now Elliott Sadler for that 10th spot in the race to the chase.
You see Mayfield's 104 points out of the 10th.
And McMurray going to try and come back on Stewart, rather. During the caution flag, Jamie McMurray riding around, plotting and planning how he might be able to get to the front with his crew chief, Donnie Wingo.
Easily have the 3rd best car, though, don't we? It just depends on the 97. I think we got the 2nd best car. I think he can beat the 12. Well, I agree. The longer we run, the better we are with those guys, aren't we? 10-4. We just need to get about a 10 or 15 lap run here and get 1 or 2 more, and then get a caution and do the same thing. I think we'll be fine. I think we can get them all.
He's losing ground right now.
Boy, he's
Tony Stewart that just passed him.
He really slipped off turn 2 that time. Dave, what's going on with 42 now?
Hadn't said anything on the radio, BP. His car earlier, well, he hadn't said anything. I didn't expect him to be going back, and they didn't didn't expect cars like Tony Stewart and Rusty Wallace to get around them, as you heard.
Rusty Wallace drove right up on the back of him. You see him right here.
Rusty in 7th place, McMurray in 6th. Rusty having started the day in 8th place, and McMurray took the green flag in 5th. Got something to talk about on fuel, Bill?
Well, I don't want to say that my glass is always half empty, but most of these teams believe they have enough fuel to get to the finish, if indeed the finish comes at lap 300. But remember, that's no longer a guarantee.
That's right. Today is this weekend the debut of the potential green-white checkered finish in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series, where if the race is under caution as it nears the end of the scheduled distance, NASCAR will extend the race an overtime period for this sport, if you will, for one chance at a green 2-lap shootout to the finish, basically. The green would wave, then the white, then the checker. If the caution comes out anywhere in that period, that's it. Like it, don't like it? What do you think?
I've said it before, I'll say it again. Don't like it as a driver, like it as a fan.
Well, yeah, exactly. And for years I was against that. But the fans have convinced me that they go through enough that they deserve to see the excitement of these cars running at speed for the checker flag. It
really complicates things for the crew chiefs in situations like this. They have to be aware. I know it's where you're going to chime in on, Bill. They have to be thinking about it.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, Alan, that could come out at 295, lap 295, and they could go 15 laps under caution, right?
Well, NASCAR said they will use the red flag to keep from extending the race unnecessarily much farther than its scheduled distance. So if they're going to need 20 laps to clean up the track, they're going to stop the field, clean up the track, and then go back for the finish.
That'll make the fans happy.
Well, I think it will if they get the shot at the green-white checker.
Yeah. Where do you think Rusty stands on that, Benny?
I don't believe he likes it, Bill. Just guessing, I don't think he likes it.
If you weren't with us earlier on Discover Card Countdown to Green, we heard from a number of drivers their take on the issue. What was it Rusty said? He said, I think all the NASCAR officials held hands and jumped off the bridge together.
That's right.
On this one.
That really was a good line by Rusty.
Rusty fighting with Dale Jarrett for the 7th position now as Jamie McMurray has gotten away from him. Let's check our Harley-Davidson lap leaders on the day. Look at Sporty. Ryan Newman.
Yeah, Newman.
Get the Sporty mention there.
Yeah,
okay.
Very nice.
Ryan Newman, well, okay, we'll leave it at that. Ryan Newman dominated the first 170 laps of the race. He led the entire first 170 laps. Before Kurt Busch got by, set of pit stops. His crew got him back the lead, and he held it until Kurt passed him on this most recent restart, and Kurt has now pulled away. Ryan back to 3rd, Jeff Gordon between himself and the race leader. There's Kurt in search of his 2nd win of 2004.
And, you know, we listened to the conversation between Jamie McMurray and his crew chief, Donnie Wingo, and we saw him fall back to 6th position. But the last time by, McMurray was the fastest car that lap.
Watching Jeff Gordon there in 2nd, we heard from Jimmy Johnson earlier today on Discover Card Countdown to Green, talking about wanting to bring a trophy home for Hendrick Motorsports today. Papa Joe Hendrick, the father of Rick and John Hendrick, passing away this past week at age 84 after a somewhat lengthy illness, and certainly many in the garage area extending their condolences to the Hendrick family this week.
And, you know, I saw Rick Hendrick. He told us that he was just blown away by the response from the fans about Papa Joe. You know, sending in money towards donates bone marrow folks. Is that John or Rick? I guess that's John. It's like John Hendrick.
Side profile look.
Yeah, they look exactly like
they do. Yeah, it is Rick Hendrick. Okay. But he's just blown away by the generosity and the outpouring of affection by the fans for Papa Joe.
Well, then anybody that met Pop loves Pop. I mean, Pop was a great guy.
You drove for him.
You bet I did.
And you too, BP,
I did
right?
too, yes.
And certainly we join the chorus of those with thoughts for the Hendrick family on their loss this week. Very tight family. Jeff Gordon trying to get that trophy for the Hendrick brothers today.
Jimmy Johnson about to lose another spot to Casey Kane. He trying to get by the 19 car, couldn't do it. And here you see the 9 car going by on the outside.
Marty's got an update on Jimmy Johnson for us.
Yeah, and these are the days that our championship teams were made of. This car was terrible at the beginning of the race. Here's all the changes they made. They were loose. They disconnected the rear sway bar. They pulled a rubber out of the right rear. They made wedge, track bar, air pressure adjustments. Jimmy said the car is finally tight. But here they sit in 11th place. They've had an outstanding day, and the brakes also are bad on this car. When they go into the middle of the corner, Jimmy has to physically pull the brake pedal back up with his foot to have a brake pedal to go to the next corner with. They have done an outstanding job. Jimmy doing a great job behind the wheel, and here they are. They could still finish in the top 10. That's amazing.
He's back to 12th now, and they're going to come away from here knowing they have some work to do to come back to New Hampshire for that first race in the chase for the Nextel Cup come September.
Again, they brought a new car here to this race. They did not bring the same car that won both races last year. They brought a different car because if they could get this car to work here, then the car that won here last year they'd take to Richmond. They're trying to get ready for the final 10 races of 2004 to win that NASCAR Nextel Cup.
Little teammates fighting for position here. This would be for 10th spot. Jeremy Mayfield in the 19, Casey Kane in the 9. Remember, Matt Yoakum told us the story of Casey having trouble on his pit stop, and they lost all that ground. Now he's trying to chip his way back toward the front.
Mike Wallace may have something to do with the outcome. Nope. Casey Kane made the pass. What are they saying about the 9 car, Matt?
He's just trying to make the best of what's been a bad day. A lot of issues today. You know, we showed you earlier that they were taking the signs down, entering the corners. Well, he needed that number 2 sign because that was one of his markers. Well, being only his 3rd start ever here in New Hampshire, he picked out a different marker and regrouped. And then he had the issue on pit road. Right now, he's just trying to battle back from that very loose race car, slipping and sliding. Remember, he's one of those drivers trying to get in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Ended the day 14th in the standings, Marty.
Well, Matt, his teammate's car, Jeremy Mayfield, is just getting tighter and tighter the longer they run. They just radioed to him, said, "Is everything all right?" He said, "I'm doing all I can out here, guys."
That white 99 car of Jeff Burton, just a couple of cars behind there, having a good run. Jeff has just 3 top 10 finishes. Really started driving what he calls better cars at Dover this year. And starting next week, they're going to break out a new car that they've already wind tunneled and think it will be competitive with the cars that he and Mark Martin started driving. Jeff said they weren't very happy with the cars they started the season with, but the same guys that built those cars worked hard to build them better cars, and now Jeff Burton's looking forward to the second half of the season. Marty.
Bill, Elliott Sadler is seventh man in the points chase, 26 points behind Bobby Labonte. They have rallied today. They are close to a top 10 finish, up there near the top 10. You see the left front fender damage. They've had it all day long. That has made Elliott's car extremely tight on the racetrack, but they fought through it and made their way close to the top 10.
Talked to Todd Parrott, the crew chief on his 38 car this morning, and they really want to get a top 10 because they feel like that will get them ready, really ready for 2005, make Elliott Sadler a much better driver.
The big difference from last year to this for that 38 team. Elliott Sadler failed to finish 9 races last year. This year, 0 DNFs. Kurt Busch is the leader. He led the NASCAR Nextel Cup Championship standings after the 7th race of the season in Texas. In the 11 races since then, only 2 top 10 finishes and 4 finishes worse than 30th. They've had a lot of teens, 11ths to 17ths and 18ths, which has kept them in that race to the chase. But a win today is going to do a lot to boost him up the standings if he can hang on for these final 10 laps. Let's go back and check on that race for 7th spot. Mikey is after Rusty.
He's trying to get alongside, trying to accelerate off the corner. Boy, Michael's got a great run.
That was close.
And DJ right behind him.
Remember, Michael Waltrip ran in 2nd for most of the first half of this race. Then they had a pit stop problem. Jack failed on them, lost his track position, went all the way back to where? I've got it written down here somewhere. Went back to 16th from 2nd on a lap 140 stop. And Waltrip is up around Wallace now into the number 7 spot.
Let's see if Michael pumps the brakes here, going down the straightaway. Doesn't look like
like it.
Doesn't look like it. When the brake goes red, that means that the driver is on the brakes. Oh, about got in the wall.
And up ahead, a challenge for third place beginning to mount by Matt Kenseth, defending series champion, closing on Ryan Newman. Wow, Newman had busy hands there. You know, it's going to trouble. Turn 4. Rusty Wallace has hit hard.
And folks, regardless, the race is not over. We will see the green flag. Who spun him out?
He said 88. Dale Jarrett was next behind him after Michael Waltrip got by. So the restart's going to come with 3 laps to go. And just one thing to remember about the green-white checker thing that we've been talking about. Once the leader has taken the white flag, if the caution comes out, then the race is over. It's not they'll go back and line up for an extended green-white checker. Once the leader's taken the white flag, if the yellow waves, that's it. It's done. It's only if the yellow comes out before the white flag, and there aren't enough, and they need extended time to get the race restarted.
Jeff is right on the bumper of the 97 car right there.
All right, here we go.
He drove it in pretty hard, but hard cut for him.
Ryan Newman trying to stay up on Jeff Gordon.
2 laps next time by.
Gordon's creeping up on him a little bit there through the center.
Now, if there's a caution in this lap, there will be a green-white checker. But if they can get back to the line, take the white flag, this race is over.
Kurt Busch is doing a good job right now. He's not overdriving the car. He's where he wants to be. He's making it real tough for Jeff Gordon.
Behind the leader, Tony Stewart tried. Matt Kenseth for 4th, couldn't do it. And they go single file. And here they come to the white flag. So Kurt Busch with 1 more lap to go to try and hold off Jeff Gordon for the win. We're on the final lap in New Hampshire. Stewart tries Kenseth for 4th. And Gordon not able to stay up with Busch.
Stewart trying everything again.
Oh,
That was close.
little contact coming off the second corner.
McMurray inside of Michael Waltrip there. That'll be for 6th and 7th. It's been a struggle over the late spring and early summer for Kurt Busch. No more. He wins today at New Hampshire International Speedway. A couple of car lengths over Jeff Gordon, his 2nd win of the season.
In victory lane, 25-year-old Kurt Busch, who turns 26 on August 4th with his first win since Bristol. And you heard him on the radio. This one feels good. A big victory lane celebration. Jack Roush is here. Crew Chief Jimmy Fenning's already been here. Congratulations. Good day.
It's an awesome day.
Well, you started winning. You were like 32nd or something. How'd you get up front?
This car will not qualify. We ran it at Richmond, and we qualified just as poorly, but it ran just as well. Just an awesome car that Jimmy built, and we worked off an abbreviated crew this weekend. Mike Kelly, he's at home having a baby with his wife, and we had 1 guy leave. So everybody was in jumbled positions, and this feels awesome. I mean, this feels really good.
Kurt, how about the 24 behind you for those final laps?
He's the competitor right now of choice. He's the guy that's winning races, sitting on poles, and he's the guy you want to beat. And the restarts will always test your ability of a car on a short run, especially with Jeff Gordon behind it. I'm very proud of this effort. Irwin Industrial Tools, their first win, and now we get to donate money to the Rebuilding Together charity, and that's just tremendous. I'm a board member in Vegas, so we're going to go build some houses.
You won at Bristol, then struggled for a few weeks, didn't you?
It's been a struggle with this tire, and it's funny because we run real well at tracks that we ran poorly at the year before, such as Loudon, such as Richmond, and a few other the smaller tracks. But this is just an awesome win for Coca-Cola, Gatorade, or not Gatorade, but a few of our other guys that we got laying around. It's just tremendous. It's been so long since I got to victory lane, I don't even know who to talk about.
But it's an awesome win for you, too, because it increases your chances in the race for the chase to the championship.
We had to come to this week and know we had to put some points together. Last week, a couple weeks ago at Chicago, we got in a wreck with Ryan Newman's flat, and this is more or less our 10 races to go. We've got to do it now if we want to be in position. It's just a tremendous effort to have the Gillette people here, to have Coca-Cola, Visa, and all of our associate sponsors. It's just a great win to be able to get back to victory lane.